I'm John Kormanik, CEO and head coach at John R. Kormanik Coaching. Today, I'm going to talk about why founders and managing partners get pulled back into the work, the proverbial working in the business. The tug is as strong as a black hole, and it can be conquered only with knowledge, insight, and action. Today, you'll learn why you keep falling back in and what to do about it. I'm here to tell you it's not another system and it's not another hack. It's the real work. Let's dive in. You didn't build a law firm to stay trapped in one. You've heard people talk about if you continue to do the work of a lawyer after starting a law firm and growing it and having a team, you've done nothing but create a job for yourself. And oftentimes, the boss that you work for is not very nice. That's the person in the mirror. You didn't build a law firm to stay trapped in one. And yet, this is where many law firm founders and managing partners are trapped. Still in the files, still on the call, still the one who catches it, whatever it is, before it goes out. And you think you need to be this way because it's your name on the door, it's your reputation on the line, and no one can do it as well as you do. This isn't a you problem. It may feel like a you problem, but it's not a you problem. It's an architecture problem. You're not weak. You're not undisciplined. You're simply operating inside of a structure that was never designed to let you out, to escape. Now, this is a structure you may have built if you founded your law firm and have grown it. It's a structure that you built and you never planned for this next step. The structure you put in place used to serve you. It used to serve you. It used to serve your family. It used to serve your clients. It used to serve your community. That's no longer true. It's no longer true. And that's okay. It's more than okay. It is appropriate that the structure that was there before no longer serves now, right? It's not a you problem. It's an architecture problem. And so once you realize that, once you realize it's not you who are falling short, it is the structure that is keeping you locked in. Once you do that, once you cross that threshold, the work becomes very different. You become more of an architect and less of an operator, which is where you ought to be anywhere. The structure used to serve you. That's no longer true. If you take anything away from our 25 minutes today, it is that the structure doesn't serve me anymore. What do I have to do to change the structure? Let's talk about a gravity well. A gravity well is a region in space. Now, hang with me. It's a region in space where the pull of a massive object is so strong that nearby matter can't escape. No matter how fast it moves, light can't escape. This is the presence. This is the premise, the science behind black holes. The pull of a massive object, a black hole, is so strong that nearby matter can't escape, no matter how fast it moves. And we know, at least in 2026, that light is the fastest thing that moves, right? The speed of light, nothing can exceed the speed of light. That's what we know today. Will that be true forever? I have no idea. I'm not a physicist. No matter how fast it moves, light can't escape a black hole. You, my friends, are in a black hole. It has been pulling you back into the work since the day you opened your doors. Think back. If you founded a law firm as a solo, you came into a law firm as a relatively new hire. And what I mean by that, if we go into the tech world, right, you're employee number 3 at Apple. You were employee number 3 at Microsoft, right? You were brought in the beginning. If that's true, you're in a black hole. And if it's not true, if you were brought in later on and walked the path to managing partner, you're still in that black hole because of the architecture that existed before you and the architecture that you've contributed to. So if you think about the architecture as a black hole, it's no wonder that you keep on getting pulled back into working in the business instead of working on the business. You get pulled back in, right? And that in versus on, it's a two-legged stool. It's missing something. It's missing the working on yourself. You work in the business, you can work on the business, you can work on yourself. That's what we do in these 25 minutes. You work on yourself. And then when you walk away from these 25 minutes, you continue to work on yourself if you're evolving. So this is a gravity well. It's an architecture issue. Now, the well has 3 layers. Most founders and managing partners only see one. If we go what the layer is, the surface layer, this is where most people are. It's the analysis that they do, right? The story you tell yourself, I don't have time to delegate. Oh my goodness, John, are you kidding me? I don't have time to delegate. So the actual driver of that layer is a behavioral habit. You are conditioned to do. I do all day. I do the work. Just think about it. If you were conditioned to have time to delegate, you would do that. You're simply not conditioned to do it. So it's a behavioral habit. When something comes in, you don't ask who should do this, who's best suited on my team to do this thing. You ask how. How do I do it? Right? Dan Sullivan wrote a book about who, not how. Buy it. It's worth the read. So that's a behavioral habit. The middle layer, some people get here. It is true. Some people get here. Most of them don't because they stop at that surface level. But for those who dig a little bit deeper, that middle layer is, it's faster if I do it. That is a cognitive default. And here's what I mean by that. It is faster if you do it one time. Sure. How many things in your law firm do you do just one time? The vast majority of them are repeated. Are they exactly repeated? No. Are they repeated in kind? Yes. It's faster if I do it as a cognitive default because it's a lie. Here's what you're doing. You're focusing only on this time, as opposed to stepping back and thinking, how many times am I going to do something like this thing over the next week, over the next quarter, over the next year, over the next 5 years? When you step back and think of it like that, the story changes. It may be faster if I do it this once. It is not faster if I continue to do it over the course of the life of my law firm or the life of my legal practice, the life of my managing partnership, whatever it is, it simply is not faster. So that is a cognitive default. You're focused on the present as opposed to every time you're going to have to repeat this thing. The third layer, which is where I take people to, is the deep layer. And this layer is all about identity. What is your identity if you're not in the work? If I'm not in it, am I still valuable? Another way to say this is, if I'm not in it, where do I find my motivation? If I'm not in it, what will I do? And finally, if I'm not in it, what will my team think of me? This is identity architecture, right? This is the deepest layer. And because we focus on the surface layer, we search for hacks and shortcuts. That's what we do, because I'll create time to delegate. I will, by using this hack or system, I will create time in my day to delegate. If you are someone who has done that, you have gone to a hack or a system to create time for you to delegate, ask yourself, are you delegating? Just ask yourself, are you delegating at a really high level? I would venture to say, for the vast majority of people, not everyone, but for the vast majority of people, the answer is no. I've created time to delegate and I'm still not doing it, is the thing that I hear a lot. Every hack you've tried has addressed the surface, that I don't have time. Or if you're lucky and fortunate enough, it is it's not easier if I do it myself. You take that a bit of a longer view. It's not easier if I do it myself because I'm going to have to do this thing over and over again. The question is, are you doing the things? Right? That's the question. And the reason that every hack you try to address the surface and it doesn't work, and so you go and try another one and you go and try another one, is because that gravity well runs deeper. It runs to your identity. And you, my friend, cannot escape your identity. You can change it, but you can't escape it. Right? You can evolve it, but you can't escape it. So stop trying. You can't. It's like light trying to escape a black hole. It doesn't work. It's not the work. It is your relationship to the work. That's what we're talking about here. That's the gravity well. And that's what you can't escape. You can't escape your identity until you evolve it. And your identity can be evolved. Trust me, it can, by doing the work on that. And it's your relationship to the work that you do. I'll never forget coaching a really, really outstanding attorney, C plus CEO, C plus CEO. They would tell you that. They would tell you that. And as we did our work, the question came up, well, John, if I don't do the work, which is client meetings, right? Which is the legal work, which is going to mediations, which is doing depositions, which is going to court. If I don't do that work, what in the world will I do? And the discussion moved to the definition of work, right? What is work? For people who have founded their law firms or become managing partners and have grown a team. The work is not the same as it was when you started. It's not, it can't be. If it is, your law firm will plateau. you will not evolve and you will not reach your full potential. So it's not the work, it's your relationship to the work and how you view the work. That's what we're talking about. How do you get out of the black hole? How do you get out of the gravity well? Escaping is not a hack. I keep on saying this. Hacks don't work. Number one, because they don't change your habits. Number two, because they don't change your identity. Number three, because they don't change your relationship with the work. Hacks do not work. Hacks are an external thing that may provide some relief until you realize that you have to do more work. And then you go and you try a different hack, right? It's the curve of change. You get into that evolutionary inflection point on the bottom of the curve, and you go back to a different shiny object, and you just continue that cycle. So hacks don't work. Escaping the gravity well requires intervention on all three levels. The first level is behavioral, right? That's that surface level. That's the behavioral level. What you stop doing and stop accepting. I don't have time to delegate. That is nonsense. It's nonsense. I can't find time to delegate. Again, that's just not true. That's a behavioral system that you've put in place and you accept it as a fact. I don't have time. We all have 168 hours in a week. We all have that. And if we're good, and if this sounds familiar to you, I'm glad. But if we're good, we sleep away 1/3 of that. We all have the same amount of time. Why are some people better at this than others? Because they decide to be. They decide to stop accepting the excuse that I don't have time to delegate. So that's number one. That's the surface level. The middle level is that cognitive level. What default patterns do you interrupt and replace? This is where who, not how comes in. 100%. 100%. The default pattern when a potential client interview is set up, right? A consultation is set up is, I have to be there. Do you? You've built a team of lawyers. Do you have to be there? Well, John, they expect me to be there. Okay, that's fine. You're the face of the firm. It's your name on the door, perhaps on the sign. Okay. Do you bring somebody with you? And do you talk in terms of we, not me, right? We will handle your case. You begin conditioning clients or referral sources, anyone, to we are a team here. It is not a me thing. It's a we thing. So the default patterns that you interrupt and replace. It's just easier if I do it. Not true. Who, not how. If you can begin to shift the way you think as soon as work comes into your field of vision and start asking, not how do I do this, who is most appropriate to do this work? If you disrupt the default pattern of, and it's subconscious almost, I mean, it's automatic. Well, I got to figure out how to do this. I got to figure out how to fit this in. I gotta. If you disrupt that pattern, you change that middle layer, that cognitive layer. And then finally, the identity work. Who you decide you are when you're not in the work. I just had a conversation yesterday, actually, with a fantastic client who's really leaning into the persona of being a CEO. We spent 60 minutes, 60 minutes yesterday during our coaching session with them identifying what does an authentic CEO who only they can be look like. What is that person? Who is that person? And who does my client have to become to be that person? 60 minutes of heavy lifting, hard work, no hacks, no tricks, no any of that stuff. It was the reflective space. That's it. Who you decide when you are not in the work, working in the business. Who are you? To quote the Who, right? You cannot solve a deep layer issue with a surface layer band-aid. You can't do it. If you cut an artery, you need a tourniquet and you need surgery. A band-aid's not going to cut it. So stop with the hacks. They set you up for failure. Do the work. Do the work that only you can do. And I know that you can do it because you've started and grown a law firm or you've moved into a managing partner role. You can do this work if you choose to. Now, the well doesn't close on its own. Black holes, as far as we know, don't close on their own, right? Stars die and implode and all that stuff, right? Again, I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm a space geek, but not an astrophysicist. Black holes don't close on their own. They continue to suck things into their vortex. This well is not going to close on its own. This gravity well that keeps you pulling you back into the work is not going to close on its own. No one can close it for you. There is no guru out there who can close the gravity well for you. You must do the work. There are people that you can team up with to create the container for you to do the work in, but you must do the work. It's really that simple. And so let's look at the behavioral, the cognitive, and the identity shifts that you need to make in order to get to the place where that you want to go, in order to get your law firm to the vision that you have for it. What are the behavioral changes? What are the cognitive changes? And what are the identity changes? Those are the 3 levels of the gravity well. And if you don't work on all of them, one bit at a time, you're going to get pulled back in. It's inevitable. It's also inevitable that if you work on all 3 of them, you will escape. Now, if this is a conversation you've been waiting to have with someone, if anything that I've said to you resonates with you, you're tired of the hacks, you're tired of the gurus, you want to really do the work and stop being pulled back in because you have big plans. You have a big vision for your law firm and your life. Well, you know where to find me. Until next time, I'm John Kormanik, CEO and head coach at John R. Kormanik Coaching. Take care. Be well.